let's talk about in the American election, Trump versus Biden. That seems to be where it's heading, even though there are, and I'm not joking, 23 people who are trying to be the Democrat nominee. Well, here is Donald Trump pretty much sizing up the bloke who he thinks he's going to be running against in 2020 to defend the White House.
Don't forget, Biden deserted you. He's not from Pennsylvania. I guess he was born here, but he left you, folks. He left you for another state. Remember that, please. I meant to say that. This guy talks about, I know Scranton, I know that. Well, I know the place is better. He left you for another state, and he didn't take care of you because he didn't take care of your jobs. He let other countries come in and rip off America.
That is very potent. In all honesty, it is very potent. Now, I know that there are plenty of opinion polls that show that Biden could go close, or is in fact going to beat him at this stage. But last time I checked, unemployment in the United States is at a 49-year low. The lived experience of Trump's economy is a whole lot different than the perennial eye-rolling and outrage of things that get written on Twitter here. So, of the 23 people who are planning to run against him, Prue, I know you've been focused on your own state election, then the federal election, but no doubt, when you reach for the phone in the middle of the night just to quickly double-check what's going on, you're aware of what's happening here. Is Biden the guy?
Poor Joe Biden, honestly. I pity anyone that's going up against Trump. I think one thing we learned from our own elections is stuff the opinion polls. I mean, they just get it wrong. And I think he's going to travel the country and he's going to talk real talk to people like he was just there. And he doesn't care how controversial he is. He's just going to talk about what people are concerned about. And Joe Biden, who is, I personally, do not like Donald Trump. But I tell you, Joe Biden represents the Democrats of old, and I think he's like heading like a lamb to the slaughter, if you want my opinion. I just think Trump is going to romp at home. Yeah,
I certainly agree. Certainly not knowing what happens between here and then. But Tim Mander, again, it's this thing where, look, I'm on the Trump train, but I am aware of where the exits are from time to time, and that, of course, means people scream at me because I'm not, enough and I'm not into the cause and all of that garbage. But this bloke is on an absolute trajectory to re-election. Yep. Unemployment is at its lowest rate in 49 years. We can't say that enough. Now, all of that other stuff that annoys people, that's process stuff, the people who are annoyed by that are not Republicans. Yeah. They're the Democrats. And here's how it works. 60 million people voted for him. 60 million people didn't vote for him. So, sure, 60 million people who didn't vote for him are going to sit there in a constant state of outrage on Twitter, on the internet, watching television news. But the 60 million who voted for him, there's no reason not to vote for him again. What do you think, Tim?
I think if they select Joe Biden, Trump will absolutely romp it in, Paul. I mean, Biden is part of the democratic institutions and very similar to Hillary in lots of different ways. I mean, they need to go for somebody clean, fresh, new. There's one thing going for Joe Biden, and that is he's not Bernie Sanders. That's all I can say.
Yeah, correct. It's this thing where, Aaron, you're not just on the Trump train, you don't even know where the exits are. You are right in there. You're pure. What do you think?
Yeah, Look, Paul, I think it's interesting looking at the Democratic primary at this point, because you've got someone like Joe Biden who has a lot of blue-collar appeal, right? He's going to appeal to a lot of the voters that Trump picks up, the sort of average middle-class folks who've lost jobs to automation and to trade with other countries. But I'm not sure if he really motivates the Democrat base, which has actually become rather radical over recent years. You've got folks out there like Kamala Harris, Ocasio-Cortez, who are talking about sort of this radical sort of identity politics, this racial politics, calling for things like reparations, people calling for, things like late-term abortion and other really divisive policies. Biden is a somewhat more moderate guy, and while he might have that broad appeal to middle America, I'm not sure if he's going to motivate the Democratic base enough. It means he may miss out on the primary, but even if he does get the primary, will he motivate his base enough to get out and actually vote? Will black and Latino voters be motivated enough by Joe Biden to get out there and vote in large numbers like they did when Barack Obama was elected? Because Hillary Clinton failed to bring those people out in large numbers, and she also alienated middle America. Biden can pick up middle America, but will he get those others? And will that be enough to get him across the line?
And for Democrats to get there, they need all this coalition of identity groups because it's not compulsory voting, and clearly, you know, it is where the energy, as they say, is in the party. It's not in the bloke that's been around for decades.